Welcome, dear friends. Today onwards, for 5 days, we will chant Bhagya Suktam after our initial prayers, which tells about invoking divine grace for the obtaining of all the Bhagya fortunes. Om 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 Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhetamastu Ma Vidvishavahai Om Shanti 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 Om Namo Brahmadibhyo Brahma Vidya Sampradaya Kartrubhyo Vamsha Rishibhyo Mahadbhyo Namo Gurubhyaha सर्वोपप्लवरहितः प्रज्ञानघनः प्रत्यगर्थः ब्रह्मैवाहमस्मि ॐ नारायणं पद्मभवं वसिष्ठं शक्तिं च तत्पुत्रपराशरं च व्यासं शुकं गौडपदं महान्तं गोविन्दयोगीन्द्रमथास्य शिष्यं श्रीशङ्कराचार्यमथास्य पद्मपादं च हस्तामलकं च शिष्यं तं तोटकं वार्तिककारमन्यान् अस्मद्गुरून् सन्ततमानतोऽस्मि सदाशिवसमारम्भां व्यासशङ्करमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ब्रह्मलोकादाशेषात् आलोकालोकपर्वतात् ये वसन्ति द्विजा देवाः तेभ्यो नित्यं नमो नमः ज्ञानानन्दमयं देवं निर्मलं स्फटिकाकृतिम् आधारं सर्वविद्यानां हयग्रीवमुपास्महे निधये सर्वविद्यानां भिषजे भवरोगिणां गुरवे सर्वलोकानां दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः व्यासाय विष्णुरूपाय व्यासरूपाय विष्णवे नमो वै ब्रह्मनिधये वासिष्ठाय नमो नमः श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पाद शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं करुणावरुणालय पालय माम् भवसागरदुःखविधूनहृदं रचयाखिलदर्शन तत्त्वविदं भवशङ्करदेशिकमे शरणं भवशङ्करदेशिकमे शरणम् ॐ ब्रह्मानन्दं परमसुखदं केवलं ज्ञानमूर्तिं द्वन्द्वातीतं गगनसदृशं तत्त्वमस्यादिलक्ष्यम् एकं नित्यं विमलमचलं सर्वधी साक्षिभूतं भावातीतं त्रिगुणरहितं सद्गुरुं तन्नमामि ॐ परब्रह्मणे नमः ॐ श्रुतिमात्रे नमः ॐ समस्त ब्रह्मविद्याचार्येभ्यो ऋषिभ्यो मुनिभ्यो गुरुभ्यो देवताभ्यो नमः ॐ श्री वेदव्यास वैशम्पायन याज्ञवल्क्यादि गुरुभ्यो नमः ॐ श्री आद्यशङ्कर सद्गुरवे नमः अस्मद्गुरुभ्यो नमः समस्त गुरूणां देवतानां श्रुतिमातुः परब्रह्मणः अनुग्रहेण उपनिषदुक्त ब्रह्मात्मैक्यबोधस्य अस्मिन् क्षणे एव सिद्ध्यर्थं सनातनधर्मस्य वैदिकसंस्कृतेः हैन्दवसंस्कृतेः पुनरुत्थानजागरण विश्वव्याप्त्यर्थं तत्कृत कङ्कणबद्धानां समस्तसाधकभक्तसेवकोपासक जिज्ञासु संस्थापकानां च समस्तबाह्याभ्यन्तरशत्रुविघ्ननिर्मूलनद्वारा शक्तिसाधना सम्पदावाप्तिद्वारा आनुकूल्यतानां सिद्धिद्वारा धर्मसंस्थापनकार्ये अतिशीघ्रगतिना दिग्विजय प्राप्त्यर्थं विश्वशान्तिसमैक्यता कल्याण एकता प्राप्त्यर्थं समस्तसाधकानाम् आयुरारोग्यैश्वर्यादि सत्सम्पदा अवाप्त्यर्थं भाग्यसूक्तस्य पारायणं तदनन्तरं श्री आद्य शंकराचार्य भाष्य समेत तैत्तिरीय उपनिषदः अध्ययनं वयं सर्वे करिष्यामहे। आदौ भाग्यसूक्तम्। ओम अथ भाग्यसूक्तम्। तैत्तिरीय ब्राह्मणं द्वितीयाष्टकम् अष्टमो प्रश्नः नवमोऽनुवाकः। ॐ प्रातरग्निं प्रातरिन्द्रगं हवामहे प्रातर्मित्रावरुणा प्रातरश्विना प्रातर्भगं पोषणं ब्रह्मणस्पतिं प्रातः सोममुतरुद्रगं हुवेम प्रातर्जितं भगमुग्रगं हुवेम वयं पुत्रमदितेर्यो विधर्ता आध्रश्चिद्यं मन्यमानस्तुरश्चिद्राजां छिद्यं भगं भक्षीत्याह भगप्रणेतर्भगसत्यराधो भगे मां धियमुदवददन्नः भगप्रणो जनय गोभिरश्वैर्भगप्रणृभिर्नृवन्तरस्याम उतेदानीं भगवन्तस्यामोत प्रभित्व उत मध्ये अह्नाम उतोदितामगवन् सूर्यस्य वयं देवानागं सुमतौ स्याम भग एव भगवागम् अस्तु देवास्तेन वयं भगवन्तरस्याम तन्था भग सर्व इज्जो हवीमि स नो भगपुर एता भवेह समध्वरायोषसो नमन्त दधिक्रावे वशुषये पदाय अर्वाचीनं वसुविदं भगन्नो रथमिवाश्वावाचिन आवहन्तो अश्वावर्ति अश्वावतीर्गोमतीर्न उषासो वीरवती सतमुच्चन्तु भद्राः घृतं दुहाना विश्वत प्रपीना योऽयं वात स्वस्तिभिः सदा नः यो माग्ने भागिनगं सन्तमथा भागं चिकीर्षते अभागमग्ने तं कुरु मामग्ने भागिनं कुरु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ अथ श्रीकृष्णयजुर्वेदान्तर्गत तैत्तिरीय आरण्यकान्तर्गत तैत्तिरीय उपनिषद ॐ यस्मात् जातं जगत् सर्वं यस्मिन्नेव प्रणीयते येनेदं धार्यते चैव तस्मै ज्ञानात्मने नमः। यैरिमे गुरुभिः पूर्वं पदवाक्यप्रमाणतः व्याख्याताः सर्ववेदान्ताः तान् नित्यं प्रणतोऽस्म्यहं तैत्तिरीयकसारस्य मयाचार्यप्रसादतः विस्पष्टार्थरुचीनां हि व्याख्येयं सम्प्रणीयते शान्तिमन्त्रः। ॐ शन्नो मित्रः शं वरुणः शन्नो भवत्वर्यमा शन्न इन्द्रो बृहस्पतिः शन्नो विष्णुरुक्रमः नमो ब्रह्मणे नमस्ते वायो त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्मासि त्वामेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्म वदिष्यामि ऋतं वदिष्यामि सत्यं वदिष्यामि तन्मामवतु तद्वक्तारमवतु अवतु माम् अवतु वक्तारम् ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। ॐ अथ द्वितीया ब्रह्मानन्दवल्ली शान्तिमन्त्रः। ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहैः। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। ॐ अथ चतुर्थोऽनुवागः यतो वाचो निवर्तन्ते अप्राप्य मनसा सह आनन्दं ब्रह्मणो विद्वान् न बिभेति कदाचनेति तस्यैष एव शारीर आत्मा यः पूर्वस्य तस्माद्वा एतस्मान्मनोमयात् अन्योऽन्तर आत्मा विज्ञानमयः तेनैष पूर्णः स वा एष पुरुषविद एव तस्य पुरुषविधताम् अन्वयं पुरुषविदः तस्य श्रद्धैव शिरः हृदं दक्षिणपक्षः सत्यमुत्तरः पक्षः योग आत्मा महः पुच्छं प्रतिष्ठा तदप्येष श्लोको भवति ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. Saluting Parabrahma Tattva Shrutimata, saluting all Brahma Vidya Acharyas, Rishi Muni Guru Devata, and Guru Tattva and Guru Parampara. Special salutations to Taittiriya Upanishad Acharyas of Sri Vedavyasa Vaishampayana Yagnavalkya and the Bhashyakara Bhagavan Adi Shankara Charana. Salutations to our own Guru Parampara, our own Gotra Rishi Parampara, who are continuously blessing us. Just like in the Bhakti, as it is said, Yena Kena Prakarena Harihi Smartavyaha. In the same way, in the Vedanta also, what struggle we have to do is all the time bring our mind to this Vedantic way of contemplating, thinking, etc. It won't happen overnight, but one day we have to achieve it. In that commitment, we have to be there. Finally, as the result of Shastra Adhyanam, at every moment of our life, what is the goal to be achieved? For that, what is the sadhana to be done should be aware by us, and that we should do, and that alone we should do till we come to this extent of utilizing every moment only for the sadhana to reach to the sadhya or the siddhi. We cannot, should not afford to leave the swadhyaya, leave the satsanga, leave the Sadguru Sannidhi. If this satsanga, Sadguru Sannidhi, swadhyaya of the Shastra, if we leave, then our mind, instead of remembering the ultimate goal, it will fall into the delusion of taking something else as the goal. Following that, all our faculties run towards that. Just like leaving the waters very sacred to drink, we are running behind the mirage water. How it looks so funny, so futile an effort. In the same way, all our efforts of achieving anything other than Paramatma are futile efforts because they end up only in the limitations, end up only in the endful results. None of them give us the endless, infinite, conditionless, limitless experience. So, may we all be that way empowered in this clear understanding that our whole day, whole life should be only dedicated to be very clear in our understanding, conviction about sadhya sadhana, so much, so much, so much that willingly, joyfully, with all the initiative from inside, exclusively we are walking only on the spiritual sadhana path every moment. Come what may, anything coming around us, within us, should not disturb us, distract us from this path. The examples of Nachiketa are for that only. He is standing so tall like a mountain that any number of the winds or rains of temptations given by Yama Dharmaraja, the would-be guru as well as the Lord's expression only, none of them deterred him from his conviction regarding the ultimate goal to be Paramatma. Come what may, I will not compromise with it. We all have to reach to that Nachiketa sthiti. To such person, even Yamaraja becomes the means for giving Brahma Vidya. So too is the case of the great bhaktas like Prahlada. His own father will try to kill him to take away the mind from the Lord. He says, I am ready to be killed by you. That's worthy. Than forgetting the Lord or the leaving the Lord or leaving the faith in the Lord. That undaunted, undisturbed conviction as we see in them. So too hundreds and thousands of examples of great jnanis, bhaktas, yogis, siddha purushas, what they have done at the time of their sadhana, same thing you and I also have to do. They, through this Svadhyaya, Shravana, Chintana, ityadi, have come to first the conclusion that that is the goal, this is the means. Second conclusion they come to is unless other than following this means to reach to that goal, no other thing we give value, importance, involvement in. This is how every sadhaka does his sadhana sincerely, quickly, to the exclusion of everything else, and hence he is able to have the glimpses in the beginning. Those glimpses will inspire him, holding on to that inspiration. He continues to do that sadhana till he touches the core of the self or the experience. May we all also be, with our everyday Shastra Shravanam, come to that deeper level of Nishtha for the Sadhya, Nishtha for the Sadhana. May all our listenings lead us to that. May they not become wasted. For that, let us at this very moment again just pray to all the Devatas, Rishi, Muni, Guru, the Shruti Mata, Parabrahma, protect us on this path. We are now in this Taittiriya Upanishad, second Brahmananda Valli. After saying that bold fact of sentence, Brahma vidapnoti param, after defining that Brahma with apnoti param, Brahma defined as Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. Brahmavid is defined as Yoveda Nitam Guhayam Parame Vyoman. Apnoti param is defined as so oshnute sarvan kaman saha brahmana vipashiteti. After saying these statements of fact, which are the experiences of all the Rishi Muni, now the subsequent topic taken up is how to reach to that Brahma Tattva who is there in very much our own core of the heart from the place where we are. So we are at the outer world, and the outer world begins from Deha Tadatmya. Therefore, we are at the Deha Annamaya Tadatmya level. Now, the efforts of Shruti Mata and the Guru is how to make these students of Taittiriya Upanishad thoroughly, correctly understand the Annamaya Kosha. Not over understand or overuse, misunderstand or misuse. How to make them thoroughly understand the Annamaya, and that thorough understanding, remember, of anything tells us the limitations of that. And the only one thing which is limitation-less when we thoroughly understand it is Paramatma. Everything other than Paramatma, when we investigate, understand, it has its own loopholes, it has its own limitations, it has its own conditionings. Those limited conditioning yukta loophole anything. How can it give us limitless unconditional happiness? When the limitless unconditional happiness is not gained, how can there be satisfaction? Without that satisfaction and contentment, how can there be peace? Without the peace, there is restlessness. That restlessness, absence of peace, alone expresses as desire. The desire is a cause of all samsara. So only in the infinite achievement that the completeness is achieved, that there is no more desire, that there is no more samsara. So on scrutinizing thoroughly, everything is found to be having its own limitation. Yet everything has a purpose, a role to play in our sadhana. And having performed with that particular thing, that sadhana, having utilized it for that sadhana, more than that, one need not be worried about, concerned with, attached to those things. It can be any outer objects, it can be any outer people, it can be any outer obligations, any outer professions, any outer involvements, whatever they are. We have a role to play in that for our own spiritual evolution, and that role is limited. Having performed that role, we should have the wisdom, discretion to detach from that, because none of them can be our goal. In the same way, in the analysis of these Pancha Kosha also, each of the kosha is thoroughly explained to us. Then its limitation is told to us. Then its utility is told to us. Then, having utilized it to the extent it can be useful, without allowing ourselves to misuse it by wrong connection, we have to withdraw from it to the next level. So Annamaya is thoroughly understood, and the purpose of that is understood. For that purpose only it is utilized. After that, its limitation conditions are understood. Then, if it is overvalued, over importance given, how it leads to our downfall, that is understood. Therefore, more than the required level to this Annamaya Kosha, we should not give the value. In this way, we have to mature in our first intellectual understanding, undoubtedly. Thereafter, consciously, deliberately, we have to do this thing. Doing this is called sadhana. Doing all that required by which the Annamaya is understood. Doing all that required by which Annamaya's utility is understood and used for. Thereafter, putting all efforts to know its limitations. More important than all that is putting all efforts, therefore, to detach from the Annamaya, not more than where and what and how it is required. All this depends more on our intellectual inquiry only. Thereafter, wherever time conscious practice is required, कि देखो this type of involvement is strengthening my Annamaya Kosha Tadatmya. So I should avoid it. This type of practical things. But all that depends on intellectual vagueness-less clarity, absolute clarity in the buddhi. When we have understanding, when we have thoroughly, then understanding itself sorts out a lot of things, but still practically also we have to transcend each of the kosha. Then practically also we have to do it. What to do? To stand apart from each of the kosha tadatmya, beyond the limitation, not beyond this requirement. In that way, so too in every relation. It's our non-thinking of the intellect that emotionally, with everything more than required by giving value, we get attached to. That is why everything binds us. These are all simple looking, very important things we have to understand and see. These are the unwanted things that are happening in our life. Avoiding them, we have to help ourselves in our own spiritual evolution. Annamaya Kosha studied. Not only our Annamaya, any Annamaya, every Annamaya. And our own Annamaya, in every time when we are given in every of the Janma. That is what it is, its biography. That is what it is content. That is what it is made up of. And the purpose of it is to give me abode, to stay. For maintaining it, whatever the anna rasa is required, that is given. To protect it, whatever shelter is required, given clothing. Any disease ailment comes, to give it the medication. To keep it fit, some of the exercises. Then, because this Annamaya is given things by the world for its sustenance, this Annamaya is utilized in serving the world, called as Dharma. This is how Annamaya Kosha's clarity should be in our life, and only that much when we live. Then, not giving more importance, Annamaya will not be a botheration to pull our attention towards it. That attention, when it is not pulled by Annamaya, withdrawn from the Annamaya, only can attend now to the next Pranamaya Kosha. Without the Annamaya devalued, in the sense, what is due, that much value is given, more than it is not given. Till it is not done, Our awareness to the second pranamaya kosha level cannot be effectively developed. And as it is seen with done with the Annamaya kosha, same is with the case of Pranamaya kosha. Pranamaya kosha is the energy giving kosha. It is required for the energy of the body to function. It is required for the energy to mind to function, etc. Then this Pranamaya kosha also is a part of Samashti, and when it touches me, the Vyashti, it becomes my Pranamaya kosha. Then, having entered inside the Annamaya, my Pranamaya, dividing into so many, maintaining the physiological functions, maintaining the Indriya functions, maintaining the Mana function, and same Pranamaya Vayu only. When the time of departure comes from this body, that time it will push the Jiva out of this Deha. This pranamaya ka ek amsha hi called as udana vayu. So this way, becoming aware of the vayumaya pranamaya kosha, becoming aware of its importance in our life, using it for that purpose, and beyond that, not giving value importance to it, is our conscious deliberate sadhana we have to do. Then only again the pranamaya kosha, whose main Lakshana is hunger and thirst, and whose main purpose is to work exertingly and exhaustively, that can be transcended. In Pranamaya Kosha, the two things are what? It has to be utilized for the work. That work utilization of the Pranamaya Kosha should be optimum. When it is too much done, then also the prana shakti will go away, because of which the manomaya kosha sthai we can't reach, or mana will not have the shakti further for doing the sadhana which is to be done with the mana. Second is what? If that pranamaya kosha dynamism is less utilized, then we will fall to the annamaya tadatmya of the laziness or tamoguna. So that maintenance of the balance of the activeness and dynamism is conquering of the pranamaya. Nor working too much that we are tired, exhausted, after which we cannot do any noble work, nor not at all invoking the dynamism of pranamaya, that it is just lazy lethargy. Both are same way wrong. In the excessive exertion, the energies are gone. Therefore, for doing the positive work, there are no energies. In not at all utilizing the pranamaya kosha, there also, whatever the higher sadhanas we have to do, for that the pranamaya is not used because it is being trained to be lazy. This what happens to all the rich people. That their pranamaya kosha energy they don't use at all because of so many servants at home. That leads to the annamaya tadatmya. Therefore, that laziness goes on growing. Once the bodily laziness has grown, the dynamism of pranamaya kosha is not utilized, then at the mana level, there will be no positive divine emotions for the Lord or even for the world. There will be emotions of attachment with the people around, because from them some bhoga for the anna and prana is coming. That is not noble love. Ignoble or vyavaharik asaktis they may have, but not the higher prema, either to the world or to all the beings or devotion to the God. To such people, there is no chance because the mind is not active at all. Because the prana is very dull, because so much tadatma with the anna prana. Such people who have not even risen to the pure positive emotional level, how can they go beyond that for the intellectual level of comprehending what exactly is the world, what is the truth that is lying behind it, to contemplate on all these things? Where will they have the pranic stability? Nahi hoga. Therefore, for them, if they are called for the satsang of Vedanta, In a half a minute's time, they sleep. On their bed, even if 2 hours they try, they may not sleep, but in the satsang, in a minute only, because no energy at all. Either it is misused for all the unwanted purposes, or that energy is not dynamically invoked. It is made to stay statically. Is it not? Therefore, every kosha thoroughly to be understood, every kosha has to be optimum level correctly utilized for the outer work and inner sadhana, and every of the lower kosha has to be detached from to get into the identity of the higher. So, at that higher kosha, live for some more days or years or lives, then go to the next, go to the next in that way. In that way, in this life of ours, if we can transcend our Annamaya Kosha Tadatmya and come to Pranamaya Tadatmya, that itself can be a great achievement. Like ना इस एक साल में हम कम से कम हमारे पर्सनल खुद के मकान का क्या कहते हैं ना एक फ्लोर तो बना लेते हैं है ना गोल तो 5 मंजिला बनाना है बट इतना पैसा तो नहीं है सो दिस ईयर एटलीस्ट द ग्राउंड फ्लोर फर्स्ट फ्लोर वी कंप्लीट in the same way in so many aspects we have an ambitions and goals and we segregate or demarcate or divide it into small parts and we start achieving one by one. In the same way, in this life of ours, if we can detach from the Annamaya fully, completely, thoroughly, that it is only an instrument given to me and it is not me. And I am Pranamaya. To that level, if we can reach, we have done enormous help to ourselves or to the sadhaka in us. If some of us have even the higher goal of even reaching to the pure Manomaya Kosha level, they are much more greater. If somebody reaches to Vijnana, now what to talk about them? क्या कहना उनका? If somebody, through utilizing the Vijnanamaya Kosha for all the study of Shastra, etc., if we become thorough about the Atma and even on the meditation, touches the core of it, वो तो ऑलमोस्ट इतना नजदीक हो गया मुक्ति के लिए. So this is how these Panchakosha analysis, which is more vividly, clearly, crystally given only in this Upanishad. In other Upanishads, same is mentioned but in different forms and not so exhaustively. Continuous, we just began now. The remaining 1.5 Valli will continue this only. The Panchakosha, Vivechanam, Vishleshanam, detachment, and going back to our own Atmavastu. The same Panchakoshas in another language is called as the three Dehas. In that Stula Deha is the Annamaya. In that Sukshma Deha alone, Prana, Mano, Vijnanamaya. The Karana Deha is itself is called the Anandamaya Kosha. So the language talked is different, but what is meant is the same one. In other place, the three avasthas they say. No, the Jagrada avastha is what? The Annamaya. Then Swapnavastha is what? Pranamano Vijnanamaya. Even Jagrada also, all these are there. But mainly Stula Annamaya hota hai Jagrada mein. And the Sushupti Avastha is Anandamaya Kosha. So Karana Shariram, Anandamaya Kosha, Sushupti Avastha are same. Sukshma Shariram, Prana, Mano, Vijnanamaya Kosha and Swapnavastha are same. So the Sthula Sharira, Annamaya Kosha, Jagrada Avastha, they are all same. So it's only a way of putting it. In any one of the ways, we can start our contemplation to understand their nature, their utility, their limitation, and transcending them. Our goal through all these means is only one. Brahmavidapnoti param yo veda nihitam guhaya. With this, we should never compromise. All the time, million times we have to remind that in the buddhi guha, the stationed Brahma Tattva, I have to identify with. That is my goal. It is vague now. It is unclear. It is ambiguous. It is absolutely not at all clear to me. Yet, Shastra told me, I continue. In this way, we have to do our sadhana. Now, we, by the grace of Lord, have seen up to the Pranamaya, Manomaya Kosha explained by our Bhagavan Sri Adi Shankaracharya. Now, again at the Manomaya Kosha level, if you are true, pure spiritual sadhakas, be attentive. Very important. What is it? Ki live in the mind, at the mind or Manomaya Kosha level, only always in the Smarana Ucharana of only the Veda mantras. For that only the Manomaya Kosha is given. Use the Vijnanamaya Kosha to understand what is said in the Manomaya Kosha's Veda mantras. After understanding, do the same thing with the Prana and Annamaya Kosha. For this purpose, the Kosha Panchaka set is given to you and me. Other than that, be attentive. We are discussing it from last 2-3 days. If the Manomaya is not having the Veda in it, it has a capacity to have every other thoughts. Other than the Veda mantra, all other Shabdas, all the other vrittis of the Mana are the Bandhana Karana. And that Mana, which is this way having all the other vrittis, other than the Veda mantras, not guided by the intellect or Vijnanamaya, will only have its identity with the Prana and Anna. And Anna, Prana, Mana, Tino Milkar project and make this entire outer world real. Then, in that seeming real outer world, in Anna and Prana and Mana, we get lost. Who? The Vijnanamaya Jiva. He is called as Samsara. So we have to be very clean, conscious. Now, when this is said, immediately the thought comes, then what about the so much of importance to the things and beings, etc.? They are important, not so much. Everything has only two utility values. One, Vyavaharika utility. Second, any utility if it is there for sadhana. More than that, all it is the mind's imagination only. There is no actually other than that thing. Imagine a projection like when you come to class. So you have with the class and with me only this much utility. He class ke liye. Beyond that, you don't give value at all. Therefore, the class or the me is never a samsara to you. Very good. That is how we have to be with the entire world. Throughout the day, do you remember me even once? No, no chance at all. No emotion, no sentiment, nothing doing. That is how we have to be with the entire world. We are here to know the truth. So to know the truth, we have to do sadhana. So in the class, the Guru Parampara giving us the sadhana what to do. Okay? This intellectual, spiritual utility value is given. That's how you come regularly to class, listen attentively. Whatever is heard, you contemplate also. That all is very healthy. For that only this is. Beyond that, anything else is samsara. In the same way, the Manomaya Kosha, we have to protect it. Just because the fanciful world is in front of us, just because the whims the mind can have from within, it doesn't mean that we should be inadvertent to get lost in the possibility of the mind, in the possibility of getting lost through the mind. You know? Just like we have a lot of money, we have car, petrol डाल के घूमते रहना, is it not? And get into an accident or getting tired or involving in the unwanted things. Just because you have a vehicle, you have money. People do so. So too, just because the money has, mind has the chance of emotion, the ability of sentiments, ability of variety of these, its imagination, projections, conceptions. इसका अर्थ थोड़ी है इसको यूज करें. A sadhaka will not do that. Non-sadhaka, he is not a sadhaka, he is not a specific goal, he has not got spiritual goal. Therefore, he has to have the time pass. He does that only, like retired people. If they are committed for the spiritual sadhana, they do nothing other than that. In that post-retirement, 15-20 years,
which Bhagavan gives them. If they are not aware of this, if they are such way self-invited unfortunate fellows, that time they do every nonsense which destroys their own mind or the health. So, in the same way, we have to be very conscious at the manomaya level. Tasya yajureva shiraha ruk dakshina pakshaha sama uttara pakshaha adesha atma atharvangirasaha pucham pratishtha. This is the purest of the mind given to us. That's how the sacredness of the mind to be maintained. Just imagine a life hours. Born, straight away gone to the ashram, any of the spiritual, stayed there only throughout life, taught by the gurus, their acharyas, their only Veda mantras to do the ucharana, the yajnas vagara to do according to the Veda mantras. Thereafter, as the time of maturity comes, the Veda mantra arthas are given, Vedanta mantras are taught, Vedanta mantra artha is given, and in the Vedanta, the Brahma Tattva is told, and the glory of Brahma Tattva after being told, the sadhana for it is said, and exactly that only is done. Where is samsara to him? Will he not realize in one life? An hypothetical example. In staying like that, he can transcend the entire worldly involvement. World will be there. When he is in that ashram growing in our sadhana, world will, with all its enchantments, with all its temptations, is always there for others to get lost, but not him. This mood we have to create. This is what is the purpose of studying of the Vedanta Granthas specially. And in among all of them, Annamaya, Pranamaya to apna time hai hi uska, but more important is the Manomaya. Imagine again as this example of the person in the ashram. You are only your own ashram. Your house itself is your ashram. सुबह से लेकर वेद मंत्रों का, पुराण मंत्रों का, इतिहास मंत्रों का ये उच्चारण करते ही जा रहे. How wonderful it is. Your mind is soaked in that only. For that only Manomaya is given. हाँ बहू बुलाते बोलना क्या है, हाँ भोजन के लिए आइए, जाओ खा के आ जाओ, हो गया. Anything else is only because of our inadvertence or ignorance, we are either sending the mind into them or adding them to the mind, which all of them have to be removed one day when you have to become sadhaka. If you have to remove them, why add? But this subtle knowledge, understanding, it takes time to come to. For that only we have to come regularly to our attend the satsangas to catch these small little looking very important ideas or the tips. Manomaya is this much. Okay. Then about the Manomaya, there is the shloka said in the Rigveda that we have seen. What are the each of the quotations of Rigveda mantra doing? They are substantiating about the presence of each of the koshas as said by the Yajurveda Rishi. Okay. So here, yato vacho nivartante aprapya manasa saha. Upanishad has said some other place. Therefore, manasa word is used. That is enough for you to accept the authority of the other Upanishad also for the presence of the Mano. Then, like the earlier two koshas, here also, when the Mana is done the Upasana as the Brahma, the results are two. Anandam Brahmano Vidvan Nabibheti Kadachaneti. Only this much it is said. Same things will come later on also. And that time Bhashyakara will explain in detail. Here though, he did not even touch also. He only said iti in the Bhashya. यतो वाचो निवर्तन्ते अप्राप्य मनसा सह इति आदि हो गया. Then the remaining thing, tasya purvasya pranamayasya eshah eva atma shariraha sharire pranamaye bhavaha shariraha. Shariraha means sharira bhavaha. Sharira means staying in the sharira. So here for the manomaya, the sharira is pranamaya. Therefore shariraha means sharire bhavaha means pranamaya bhavaha means it is there inside the Pranamaya kosha. Obviously, because the Pranamaya is Annamaya, it is in the Annamaya also. Not directly through Pranamaya. Mana identifies and functions with the Annamaya kosha through the Pranamaya. Without prana in between, how can the mana identify or work with the mana? Sharira, is it not? Like mana is telling the body to move, but the body cannot move just because the mana told you. The pranamaya should have the energy to move the body, no? In that way, the pranamaya ke andar manomaya hai. It is a sharira atma of the pranamaya. This we have to first listen, then slowly really think about it, feel it, understand it, accept it. Then really on dhyana avastha, what we do is to become aware more of the sankalpa vikalpatmaka mana than even prana. Remember, prana is jada. The chetana starts happening from the mana only. Even the knowing ability also is not there in the prana or in the anna. Only in the mana, slowly, somewhat the knowing starts happening. So this is what is to be understood about manomaya kosha. But what about all the raga, dvesha, kama, krodha, the vikaras of the mano? What about all the variety of attachments and all? बाबा यही तो मन का डिसीज है, इन्हीं को पालने से दुखी हो रहे हो, उसके बारे में सोचना भी व्यर्थ है. That is why the sacred Upanishadic Vedantic literature doesn't talk much at all about them. The Purana Ityasa talk about sentiments, emotions, this and that all. इसमें सब नहीं. Pure naked truth is spoken as it is, without any sentimentality or emotion. Even praying to Mitra, Varuna, Adi is more than sentimentality. It is a type of faith there. Oh Lord, you are there for the sake of blessing us only, and we are here to invoke your blessing to use these faculties for the effective sadhana. Therefore, with the tuning and Shraddha, we are praying. In the Vedanta, the prayers are with Shraddha, not the emotions like in the Pranamaya, Mano, like in the Purana Adi. Yesterday we saw so many, all our classes में the emotions, है ना, ये पुराणों में होता है, होगा वेदांत में. Have you ever seen in any of the Upanishad the sentiment, emotion? No, the rules are told, you follow with faith. And that prema, adara, whatever disciple has for the guru has for the disciple is not sentimental. It is higher than that, greater than that. Very beautiful. Like Gurudev, he loves us. Is he sentimentally loving us? But he is loving us. What is his love? If you can understand, that is how in the Vedanta, all these questions of sentiments, emotion, etc. are vyavaharika, laukika, samsarika. We don't even need to value them. And when you don't value, not only they are not there in the mind, to that extent the mind is calm and quiet. That calm and quiet mind easily allows us to transcend it and to enter into Vijnanamaya kosha. If we allow all the unwanted kachara in the mind, it becomes so heavily loaded. That heavy loaded mind will pull us to identify with it only and will not allow us to go to the Vijnanamaya level. This is how we have to slowly, steadily, day by day, through contemplation, understand how these five koshas are playing their role in me and how I have to know them, understand them, use them, drop them, go beyond them. This is entire Vedanta spirituality. Now, after said this much of Manomaya, Tasmadva etasmat Manomayat Anyaha, other, Antaraha, inside, Atma, the real Atma, real compared to the Mana as Atma. Compared to taking the Mana as an Atma, the Vijnanamaya is the real Atma. But Vijnanamaya Atma also is only because Mithya Jnana, Mithya Vinivesh. But taking Vijnanamaya as an Atma helps us to come out of Manomaya as an Atma. Therefore, Anyaha Antaha Atma. Because Atma is important. Not only for the goal, Atma is important. Second, if the Atma is dropped, अरे मैं अपने आप को ड्रॉप कर दिया फिर मैं नहीं हूं क्या? That type of feeling comes because the security is important everywhere, and every time the security is of not an Atma, it is of Atma. सब लोग सब कुछ रक्षण के लिए करते हैं, संरक्षण के लिए करते हैं, आत्म संरक्षण के लिए करते हैं. Whether it is a plant or animal, bird, human, much before any involvement in bhoga and achievements, what is first? Protection. Of what? What is first? Security, safety. Of what? Atma only. Therefore, Atma as a goal also important. In the while doing the sadhana also, if the Atma Vastu is not attended to, there will be fear. इसलिए छोड़ो मन को एज एन आत्मा, बट छोड़ के नहीं रहना. टेक विज्ञानमय एज एन आत्मा. बिकॉज आत्मा होना पड़ता है. Though from the higher kosha standpoint, even Vijnana is not Atma, but to detach from the Mana Atma, the Vijnana has to be taken as Atma. I am the Vijnanamaya kosha. We have to repeatedly do sadhana for long. Then only the Manomaya Atma transcendence happen. All this we are doing only theory. Huh? अभी हम अन्नमय को भी नहीं छोड़े. We are only studying in the class. That too सुबह सुबह वेदांत क्लास में भी सामने पकौड़े लगा के खाते हुए सुनते हैं. Am I reminding you or what? Don't do. So, तो अन्यः अंतरः आत्मा विज्ञानमय. Is it not? Now, तेन एषः पूर्णः. तेन विज्ञानमयेन एषः मनोमयः पूर्णः. What is Vijnanamaya? Instead of our all definitions, what Bhashyakara says, that we study. Yesterday we all saw it. Day before we saw. Again we are doing repeatedly for more clarity. नहीं तो उस weakness से ही उसको छोड़कर आगे जाने की नौटंकी में we only finish the text without becoming ourselves a finished product in our at least understanding. कम से कम समझदारी में हमको clarity होना है. So therefore, slowly again if you see, so tenesha purnaha, then sava esha purusha vida eva. Savai eshaha. That this Vijnanamaya also purusha vida eva. Tasya purusha vidatam. Is it its own? No, no, no. Anuvayam purusha vida. Ayam means the manomaya. Anu means following. Following the manomaya is the purusha vidata to the Vijnanamaya. Purusha vida means simple expression of like a Purusha. That Purusha is Pakshi with the Pancha limbs. Purusha vidata means like a Purusha. Like you and I have a head, hands, then the stomach. From the stomach to the leg, whole one thing. For the birds, there are no legs. इसलिए उनका पुच्छ से वहां बता देते हैं पक्षी. So who from where the Vijnanamaya got the Purusha vidata? It has got from the Manomaya only. Okay. Now the two aspects. One we have already exhaustively seen. Again we will see for 5-10 minutes. Then the second aspect of each of the limbs of the Vijnana we try to understand. So before that, what is Vijnanamaya kosha per se? As such, we have seen yesterday. Ki Manomaya Vedatma Uktaha. मनोमय इज वर्ड वेद आत्मा. वेद मंत्र ही उसके आत्मा है. तो मन में क्या होते हैं? वृत्तियां. व्हाट वृत्तियां द मन शुड हैव? ओनली द वेद मंत्रास. एंड दोज वेद मंत्रास आर अटर्ड थ्रू द माउथ as a chanting while doing the yajna agadi or while teaching to the next generation, etc. So vedartha ukta manomaya vedatma ukta. Then Vedartha Vishaya Buddhi. Yesterday we saw Buddhi means understanding. Of what Vishaya? Which Vishaya? Artha. Whose Artha? Veda. वेद के अर्थ का विषय जो बुद्धि में समझदारी के रूप में है. हाउ इट शुड बी? निश्चयात्मिका विज्ञानम. सो हियर वी हैव टू सी थ्री थिंग्स. वेदार्थ विषया बुद्धि, Second, Nishchayatmika Vijnanam. Third, Adhyavasaya Lakshanam. So, Vedartha Vishaya Buddhi means in the Buddhi, the understanding about the meaning of the Veda mantras. Second, Nishchayatmika Vijnanam, that understanding should be Samshaya Rahita, it should be Nishchayatmika. Third, how do you come to that? Through the Adhyavasaya, through listening from the Guru and doing one's own inquiry or contemplation. So, therefore, what is Vijnanamaya Kosha? That where the Veda mantras which are revealed at the mana level of those Veda mantras, thorough, unambiguous, authentic, convinced, doubtless, conspicuous, crystal clear understanding, jnanam, is called as Vijnanamaya Kosha. Per se. That Vijnanamaya Kosha again has the capacity of knowing the Vijnana of all this world. But if you use it for that, definitely the worldly Vijnana grows. With that, the worldly gains can be gained. Worldly Sukha Bhoga can be obtained. But this is Laukika Vijnana, which is Laukika Prajna, with which the Medha is Pihitaha. The Atma Jnana will be covered then. Medhaya Pihitaha, what we chanted there is this. Like the mana has two possibilities. One, safe and secured spiritual, other is insecure, unsafe worldly. So to pranamaya, safe and secured pranamaya used for sadhana work or misuse. So to annamaya, safe and positive, negative. We have to have discretion. For what these koshas have to be used. Vijnanamaya kosha also should be in line with the Manomaya kosha to say that what is said in Manomaya kosha as the Veda mantra, uska artha Vijnanamaya mein hona hai. It is both ways. One way, Vijnanamaya should follow the Manomaya because in Manomaya Veda artha is Veda mantras are there. Second is what? The Manomaya should be authenticated, supported by the understanding of the Veda mantra of the Manomaya by the Vijnanamaya, by understanding. So, who gives authority, final say to the Veda mantra of the Manomaya is Vijnanamaya by its understanding and utility of the Veda mantras. In this way, these two should always be integrated that way. है ना? वेद मंत्र उच्चारण कर रहे मन से, but the meaning of that is not known. Then what is the use of that ucharana? Intellect is used and lot of thinking is going on, understanding is happening, but it is not of the Veda mantras, but some other whims and fancies. Then other than binding, what will that Vijnanamaya Kosha do? तो इसलिए विज्ञानमय कोश में वेद का ही अर्थ होना चाहिए. मनोमय कोश में वो अर्थ जो विज्ञानमय में है उसी का मंत्र रूपी भाव होना चाहिए. In that way, we have to maintain our koshas for transcending them each by each, reach to our goal of Aham Brahmasmi. That's what the same example. When we are in ashram, all the time Vijnanamaya kosha is only, reveling in the meaning of the Veda mantra which were taught in the beginning to the disciples at their mind level for memory, at their mouth level for chanting. पहले चैंटिंग सिखा था, उसके मास्टर होने के बाद उसका अर्थ, उसके बाद उसके ऊपर ध्यान. देन इन द ध्यान व्हाट इज इंडिकेटेड इन द वेदांत मंत्र, द ट्रुथ, आई एम दैट. This is how we have to transcend or use these each of the kosha. So this much is said about Vijnanamaya kosha. Second one is what? इसी की वेदार्थ विषया बुद्धि ही निश्चयात्मिका विज्ञानम तच्च अध्यवसाय लक्षणम फाइनली अंतःकरण से धर्म. This Vijnanamaya kosha is for the jiva one of the अंतःकरण. उसमें अध्यवसायता होगा, विचार विश्लेषण, व्यवसायत्मिका बुद्धि होगा, निश्चय, और वो भी वेदार्थ का निश्चय, वेदार्थ का ज्ञान. एंड इट इज वेरी पावरफुल. वेदार्थ का ज्ञान का अर्थ क्या हुआ कि फॉर आउटर लाइफ ऑल्सो इन द वेद ओनली टोल्ड, डिपेंडिंग ऑन आवर ओन वर्ण आश्रम, व्हाट नॉट टू डू, व्हाट टू डू. That is so clear, unambiguous. None of the, like, for a highly devoted, surrendered disciple to a guru. My guru told me to do this. What is the question there further? So too, my guru told me not to do this. What is the question further? Imagine the intellect of that person. Why to do, what to do, guru told. That is one thing, knowledge. But his conviction that only what my guru told I will do, not the other thing which he never told me. Will he have any problem? So his Vijnanamaya is now fully in tune with Guru. In the same way, our Vijnanamaya Kosha should be fully tuned to the Shastra, Veda mantra and their artha. Because Vedas are अपौरुषेय, Vedas are the expression of the Lord, the Veda रूप में भगवान सबके कल्याण के लिए आए हैं. There's no even one trace for the non-kalyana of any jiva in the Veda. When it is for my own kalyana, and in that Veda, when it is told do this and don't do that, what is further for me to think or understand? Why we have to study Veda? Only for one reason, to know what to do, to know what not to do. Thereafter, do what is to be done. Don't do what not to be done. You are liberated. Isn't it? When the doctor gives medicine and care about that food to be taken, not to be taken, exactly follow. Bimari khatam. Anything more than this is the self-created delusion, confusion, and samsara. A person gone to office, did his work, came home, and was with his family and children. Very good. Many friends, relatives call, he goes to. In his own house, he has a function, he calls everyone. They come, attend, go. Where is samsara? Any other thing only is samsara. Not going to office regularly, fighting with the boss, subordinates, which are not in line with the purpose for which he is going. But they're all uncontrolled imaginations, projections of mind. Slave to that mind is the intellect. Intellect, instead of saying you just shut up, you are involving in nonsense, the intellect also supports it. Thus, we become inadvertently everywhere instead of becoming a dharmika vyakti and sadhaka, we become samsara. Sadhaka does sadhana to reach siddhi. Anybody who doesn't know or do the sadhana to reach siddhi, whatever he is doing is samsara, and whatever gets out of it is the bandhana. Samsaram karte hain, bandhanam paate hain. Other than samsara are only two things. One is dharma, second is sadhana. But these things doesn't click to us easily. Because such people who teach all this, we don't go to them. We go and discuss only with those people who are double samsari than us, for whom the world is real, involvements are real, the sharira, prana, mana, buddhi, all of them have to be used only for that. In that whole group we are. Bhed bakri, that what do you call that? The sheep, goat. We are also with that only. Andenaiva niyamana yatanda. Now, in this Taittiriya Upanishad, so clearly said, from now onwards, our orientation should be totally different. None of these very sacred Panchakoshas we will misuse for their destruction, for our own samsara. We will protect them, we will utilize them only for our sacred work of Adhyatmik sadhana. This commitment should come into us. Now, after that, तन्मयः निश्चय विज्ञानैः प्रमाण स्वरूपैः निर्वर्तितः आत्मा विज्ञानमयः. So तन्मयः निश्चय विज्ञानैः प्रमाण स्वरूपैः. So वेद प्रमाण से वेदों के अर्थ का ज्ञान जो निश्चय पूर्वक है वो आइडियल विज्ञानमय कोश. Non-ideal Vijnanamaya Kosha is along with this many other kachara, or only the kachara is there. This is not at all there. When the pashus are there, they eat and breed and die and they fight with each other for the food. In those pashus, do they have any Veda Vijnana? वेदार्थ वेद विज्ञान नहीं है उनको. Means what? The actual sacred Vignanamaya kosha is not there in them. Same we all, when we don't have the Veda, Vedartha in our heart. We are equal like Pashu, like them we are. Except for some education or improvised way of enjoying the world's bhoga, that's okay. But Vedarth नहीं है तो क्या करना क्या नहीं करना नहीं पता. The dog doesn't know कि उस दूसरे कुत्ते को भी खाने देना चाहिए, मिलकर खाना. No, मेरा खाना मुझे खाना है बस. So too we like a dog fight with each other, taking this world as real, taking the achievements in the world as real. No difference between that and us. Absolutely. They don't know English, Hindi, we know that's it. So beautiful it is Nischaya Vijnanai. And this Nischaya Vijnana should be Pramana Swarupai. What is Pramana? Vedanta Pramana. Veda Pramana से हमारा ज्ञान पक्का होना है regarding what to achieve, what not achieve, what to do, what not to do. In that case, we are purely in the Vijnanamaya kosha. And that Vijnanamaya kosha with this clarity, it does only two things. What to do outside, it does it, and what to reach inside, it focuses on that. There's no slavery to it, to the mana or indriya or the buddhi or mana or sharira ityadi, pranamaya. No, it is bhakka. Okay? Now, next one is important. Pramana vijnana purvakaha hi yajnadihi tayate. Now, it is a very powerful sentence. What I said is, in general, it happens. In general, it should happen. What is that? All the yajnas which we have to do, we should do them with the pramana. And what are the two pramanas? One pramana is Veda pramana, second is the Vedaka Artha, Jnanaka pramana. What is said in Veda and why Veda told me to do that? Having that clarity. So the important thing is what? Sarva yajnadi tayate. Is it not? He yajnadi tayate. Now, it is a very interestingly said commentaries, all these are. Meaning is what? प्रमाण पूर्वक ही यज्ञ किया जाता है. What is the actual meaning of saying it is what? Our life should never have any karma which is not yajna. Yajna actually here means karma only. But the word is not used. Karma word is not used. Yajna word is used. Therefore, any yajnayagadi karma of the Veda, we do it according to our own whims and fancies. It falls in its dignity from the yajna to the karma level, leading to our own bandhana. Because karma binds the karta into karma phala. Whereas our own karmas, when they are sanctioned by the Vedic authority, they themselves become the yajnas. सो कर्म करके कर्ता के रूप में भोक्त के द्वारा कर्ता भोक्ता संसार में फंसना है या वेद को पढ़कर उसमें दिए हुए यज्ञ को करते हुए याज्ञिक बनकर थ्रू द यज्ञ भगवान को पहुंचना है. वी शुड थिंक कूलली इन अवर माइंड. Very important. So, heart in heart, deeply, behind the literal meaning, these are the meanings these bhashyas convey. So, pramana purakam hi yajnadihi tayate. It is a bold statement said. Uska simple literal meaning is what? All the yajnas are done backed by the pramana, authenticity of the Veda. So, no yajna should be done independently. It should be according to the Veda. And every action of our lives is only the yajna. Then if every action has to be only yajna, and yajna is given in the Veda, therefore every action should be according to Veda. Vedic authority. In Vedas, what to do, everything is given. We have to study them. पढ़ रहे उपनिषद वगैरह में, is it not? Every minute detail. ये वेद मंत्र में कौन से क्या कहते हैं, काढ़ा काढ़ा से दांत मांजना है, यहाँ तक भी बताया. कौन से साबुन से नहाना ये भी बताया. बस ढूंढना पड़ेगा. In that Ayurvedic treatment, you have to give your deha to those people who there. And ये उतना रगड़ कर मसल कल ऐसे ऐसे करके they remove all the inner malinyam and they give a very good bright shining and health to body in that 1 month. And they are doing all that according to Ayurveda. So वेद में even स्थूल शरीर का तुष्टि पुष्टि के भी सब बताए हैं. Don't ask me, Swami, बताओ किधर है. I told you already, go to Ayurvedic Institute and learn there. Have faith in Veda and do every work as yajna. Rather, do only the works which are yajna, and everything Veda tells is yajna. In the Veda, even what you call, all the samskaras are the yajnas only. Even procreating children also is yajna there. It's a continuation of progeny, it is Ishwarecha. सब कुछ यज्ञ है वहां. Where there is karma, there is no yajna, only samsara. Where there is yajna, there is no karma and samsara, that slowly becomes sadhana. By the way, so विज्ञानमय कोश वेदों के अर्थ को समझते हुए एक तरफ जीवन निर्वहन के लिए द्रव्य यज्ञ करना चाहिए, दूसरी तरफ मोक्ष के लिए ज्ञान यज्ञ करना चाहिए. Full stop. Beyond this, don't think. Do what is said. Then see how the life will not change from bondage towards liberation. Definitely hota hai. But who are the ones who are ready to even listen these sublime sacred things? Forget about understanding them, practicing them. है ना? करोड़ों लोग हैं. How many attend the morning Upanishad class? Hardly. Free. कोई पैसे भी नहीं मांगते. कुछ भी नहीं. So only just free. Just you have to have your internet and listen. That's it. Charging ऐसी कुछ है? No. That is Kali Yuga. देने पर भी नहीं लेते हैं अच्छी चीजें, नहीं देने पर भी हड़प झड़प लेते हैं बुरे चीजें. That's called Kali Yuga. इन सत्य का फ्रीली देने पर भी they don't take negative samsara. नहीं देने पर भी रिक्वेस्ट करके having gone to the guru, सरेंडर करके उनसे मांग मांग कर लेते हैं अच्छे चीजें called as vidya. There is a difference between Kali and Satya. And outside Kali Satya is not in our hands, but the inside we can change from our mind from the Kali to the Satya. That is why we are studying our evening Bhagavad also together. Okay? So this is what is Vijnana. Vijnana is simple. Vijnanamaya Kosha is Karta. And that Karta Vijnanamaya Kosha is Yagnika. And that Karta Vijnanamaya Kosha, Yagnikas, Karmas are the Yajnas. The Yajnas are those Varnashrama Vihita, Laukika Vyavahara related, as well as Paramarthika Sadhana related Yajnas, which are told only in the Vedas. Veda Pramana Purvak. Okay. So Vedas are revealed at the mind level, but the meaning of that through inquiry and listening from the Guru is authenticated, substantiated, convincingly gained at that place. That is called Vijnanamaya Kosha. So live life as I am Vijnanamaya Kosha. What is my Vijnanamaya Kosha? I am a Karta of the Yajna Karma, of Dravya Yajna for the Vyavaharik Jivanam, or Jnana Yajna for the Sadhana, both given to me in a Veda Mantras. सिंपल भाई, भगवान ने दुनिया बनाया, हमको वहां भेजा, खुद ही वेद के रूप में आए, वेद बताने को गुरु के रूप में आए, गुरु वेद में बताया बात हमको बताते हैं ये करना ये नहीं करना, फॉर द वर्ल्डली लाइफ, फॉर स्पिरिचुअल एवोल्यूशन. खत्म बात. Same thing I learned what I learned from Guru and reached out. Same I do to my next generation. Whether they are the children, the Bindu Santati, or the disciples, the Nadu Santati. There is no ambiguity. That is how Veda Parampara is the only way for the redemption from samsara at the individual as well as global level. But who will understand? That Pakhanda Mata, Pashanda Vivinna Chetaha, as we are studying in the evening Bhagavatam, all our these pure sacred ways of thinking, contemplating of the Chitta are destroyed by these Pashandis. They talk sentimental, they talk emotional, they tempt us with the object. Then they say, if you go to morning class, you will miss your sleep. If you go to afternoon class, you will not have your lunch. If you go to evening class, you will be delayed in the dinner. These are all pashandamat. एंड हमको भी लगता है अरे सेंटिमेंटली बोल रहा है कि आई मिस करूंगा वो मिस करूंगा तो बेटर है लेट अस मिस स्वामी जी क्लासेस पाषंड मत इसी को उससे हमारा चेतस भिन्न होते होते अब चित्त है ही नहीं हमको डिवाइन गिवन चित्त इज नॉट देयर आई टोल्ड यू दैट डे मजाक के लिए 40 साल पहले शादी में फादर इन लॉ गेव द चेयर so that chair नहीं cycle now this son-in-law is so fond of that cycle doesn't allow anybody to touch. This is given to me out of love भाई उन दिनों में ऐसे होता था साइकिल देते थे मैक्सिमम 2 व्हीलर देना 40-50 साल पहले दहेज में मांगते थे छोटे छोटे राजदूत होते थे राजदूत दे दो राजा रानी और रानी दोनों बैठकर घूमेंगे राजा रानी Now the cycle of this fellow who never allows anybody to touch it. Ask him, when it was this given to you by your father-in-law? 40 साल पहले. One by one you ask, how come these 40 years, the same seat you are sitting and driving cycle? He says, no. Oh, 30-35 साल पहले सीट खराब हुआ था मैंने चेंज कर ली अरे वाह ठीक है देन सच ए ग्रेट हैंडल इट इज 40 years ना 30 साल पहले एक एक्सीडेंट में हैंडल भी टूट गया आई हैव चेंज्ड इट अच्छा ठीक है देन दिस फ्रंटल टायर उतने दिन से कैसा रहता है विच इज द कंपनी नहीं वो भी एक तरह हो गया उसको भी बदल दिया मैंने पर पीछे वाला वही बदल चेन वो भी बदल बेयरिंग सब तो सब चेन गए फिर वेर इज द अंकल गिवन मामा गिवन दैट सासू ससुर जी गिवन साइकिल किधर है दिमाग में in reality. In the same way, we have the chitta given by the Lord without anything in it for which the Lord has given chitta called as the Veda Jnana, Veda Samskara, Veda Ukta Jivana Lakshyam. Because repair करते करते इधर साइकिल का तो रिपेयर इधर क्या है allowed our chitta to be destroyed by the pashandis. चित्त है लेकिन जिसके लिए होना नहीं है Is it not true? From childhood, where are we taught the Veda mantras, Veda arthas, Veda way of jivana vidhanam? Where are the yajnas happening at home? Where are the upasanas happening? Veda mantra uchcharan कहाँ हो रहा है? नहीं. Now we understand how we have fallen from this Vedic dignity to this. That's why every day Sanatana Dharmasya Vedika Samskrutehe Punarutthana Jagarana Vishwavyaptyartham we are doing our classes. Every day Sankalpa we will do it. For us first to enter into this groove of Veda way of living life for our own outer security and inner evolution. Same thing will be spreading. Nothing lesser than this, and there is nothing greater than this. We don't do anything lesser than this, and there is nothing greater than this. At the most, we can do little compromise with the Vedas is वेद के ही दूसरे रूप पुराण इतिहास है that will touch because through that the teaching the Vedic Samskriti becomes easier for today's generation. That's how our commitment, by the way. But here is the Vijnanamaya Kosha. Now one by one comes. So, यज्ञादि हेतु कत्वम च वक्ष्यति श्लोकेन आगे बताएंगे it is Vijnanamaya who should study Vedas and understand, therefore who can live the life of outer and inner yajna, not to fall but to rise steadily in the spiritual evolution. Now here, Nishchaya Vijnanavato hi kartavyeshu arteshu purvam shraddha utpadyate. Each of these sentences, which now are talking about the five limbs of this Vijnanamaya Purusha. Though we promised yesterday we will do it today, but today also ours has gone in, reminding what we studied so far and adding some more sacred important things. Maybe Lord wants us to go slowly. We'll follow the Lord's, the Guru's guidance only. So this portion of every limb of this Vijnanamaya Kosha we'll study very detailedly tomorrow. And for our coordination or convenience or mm, together, what is it? Coincidence. Same thing is subject discussed also in our yoga darshana also. दोनों में एक ही विषय हमको पढ़ा रहे हैं यहाँ, वो हम अभी देखेंगे. टुडे विल स्टॉप हियर, फर्दर विल सी टुमारो. ओम 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 पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते. ओम शांति शांति शांति. हरि ओम. श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः. परमऋषिभ्यो नमः. परब्रह्मणे नमः. श्रुतिमात्रे नमः. ओम तत्सत् ब्रह्मार्पणमस्तु. Friends, one thought is what? Yes, you are very unfortunate enough to get an acharya to speak on Vedanta, Upanishads, and Bhashya, who doesn't know himself anything. Yet, here or anywhere, make a habit. Already many of you have got. Continue the habit of daily listening to Vedanta. It has its own very divine, sacred influence in our inner personality. Anything is lower than Vedantic listening only. Anything else. You may listen to Puranas, you listen Itihasa, you listen to Yoga Darshanam. All of them are very good, but not as great as Vedanta. Therefore, if you don't like me, search some other guru, but listen only the Vedanta first. Thus, keep up that sacred activity, and through this, allow the entire Guru Parampara to modify, divinize our inner personality. Anywhere you go, I don't insist you listen to. There are millions of good speakers than us and all. You will like them, you will love them. Go, but listen Vedanta. Nothing greater than the Vedanta. That is a summon bonum of entire Sanatana Dharma. The Sanatana Dharma stands not on Puranas, Itihasas, Yoga Darshanas, because they themselves don't stand on themselves. They stand on the Veda Vedanta only. And we have got now an idea, a taste, an understanding came. Not like few years back where we don't know what the Upanishads at all. अब उतना तो नहीं है, तो फर्क तो पड़ा. So it becomes duty, responsibility, and choice for us now not to miss these classes. I don't insist, listen here, but anywhere. Is it not? So that be in that Vaidika Upanishad Jnana contact, in that mood. And I'm sure I'm 100% telling you, I'm not explaining as it has to be. I myself am not thorough. And therefore, I cannot anyway force you or insist you if you get a better speaker. But speaker you choose, but subject should not be anything other than Vedanta first. After this, anything. Especially when you have tasted it, when you have known little importance of it. With that idea only, we have started around 970, 60 days back, our Vedanta Shravana. Without break, we are going on doing. Definitely, time has taken. We have not reached Brahma and all. 10,000 जन्म में भी ब्रह्म मिलेंगे नहीं बता हमको. In one life, nothing will happen. Please remember it. But then, The commitment itself is so greater to be in touch with. Like Bhagavan loves the Brahmanas only because of Brahmanas do Nirantara Veda Ucharana, Veda Shravana, Vedanta Vicharana. And anybody who does this is like Brahmana only, loved by Bhagavan also. So therefore, any difficulties, 1 or 2 days you may skip, otherwise please catch up. Only a suggestion I can give you, a request I can make. Again, life is yours, choice is yours. By the way, today to our Taittiriya Upanishad, we have done 300 days. 10 महीने से हम 1.5 उपनिषद ही पढ़े अभी तक, आधा सवा 1.5 मतलब out of the 3 valleys 1.5 we have seen. But good, every day we are coming, every day we are chanting like a pagal, and we are trying to see the meaning. I talk to you in my own sleep and listening, you also enter into sleep. It was going on. But that is what was necessary for us for evolution at that time. And now we are slowly settled in. We are taking more responsibility in coming to class regularly, in trying to chant the mantras, in seeing its meaning along with Bhashya, and trying to understand them, get convinced about it. And 1 or 2 of you also really started analyzing for themselves the Panchakoshas. But that's very healthy side, good. Continue it every day morning for some time. The understanding of the Panchakosha has to be repeatedly reminded in ourselves. Who knows, within a year, 2 time, will become crystal clear, unambiguous clarity about each of the koshas, their position. Then by Paramatma Krupa, actually we may start living at the higher koshas, transcending the lower. अगर हम इतने और भी डिजर्विंग है माय गुरु ईश्वरास कृपा ऑल द गुरुस कृपा हु नोस इवन द आनंदमय वी ट्रांसेंड देन ब्रह्मविदा आपनोति परम वी मे रीच आउट. So we have started taking the chance, we have started giving chance. It is a great, good chance given taken. Let us not miss this chance. That's the only suggestion. Choice is yours. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shri. Take 2 minutes to come back for Yoga Darshana Adhyanam.